Thank you, Brian, for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Rhonda Byrice, and I am your preparedness guru. What I do is I left the city, moved up to 685 acres up in the middle of the northeastern portion of Arizona, close to Holbrook, in between Holbrook, St. John's, and Show Low, which most of you probably know where Show Low is. We decided back in 2010 when we found this property to start building on this in order to create a space that is actually for getting people ready for any type of disaster. And we can look at what happened in California. That was like, here it is, boom, it was on top of the people, and the people are now frustrated. Same thing in North Carolina. Stuff happened to them. It was like black swan, boom, boom, boom. Things are just happening. And so our goal is to get people prepared to figure out what their skills are so that they can take that back to their families and be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Most people want to just create their lifestyle and pretend things aren't happening around them. I call that normalcy bias. All they want to do is have things go back together. We saw that during COVID, how people just wanted it to go back to normal, stop bothering us. We just want to go back to where we were before, but that was a life-changing event. It was a global life-changing event. And so because we know things are going to be constantly going on more and more and more, whether it's the weather, whether it's looters or people that are out there hurting one another. We've got all of these immigrants that are in here doing different things. We don't know when our next disaster is going to happen. Arizona, we live in Arizona, and Arizona is really the desert. If it wasn't for the aqueducts, it would be the desert. And so we know that water is a precious commodity in the state of Arizona. And part of that is if for some reason there's a catastrophe and you don't have water saved somehow, somewhere, some way, you can only live 3 days without water. And so that is really something people really need to take a look at. How can I prepare myself for any type of disaster? So here at the Enoch Ranch, at the Ark of Sustainability, this is what we do. We bring people in, we put them in an off-grid setting. They come as you are. We give them different skills to deal with. This year we have natural remedies. We've got our shooting range. We have gun safety. We talk about solar, how you can have solar that's away from the government. We know that solar in the city is you get your solar, it's connected to the system, and you've got your solar, you're doing a payback. But what happens when your grid goes down? That's going to go with the grid. So we teach people how to have a separate type of solar that will be beneficial in a type of in case of a disaster. Also, we look at different types of foods that you can grow, what your growing season is. In the city in Phoenix, you have a double growing season. We used to have a 3-acre farm in Phoenix, and we used to grow almost all year round. June, July, not so much. We all know that that's kind of misery, August sometimes, but you have double growing seasons and people need to know what can grow when and how, and we teach that. We also get people to come up and drive a tractor, learn a little bit more about how to get your hands in the dirt and the nitty-gritty of things. We want you to be equipped for anything. And what are your strengths in a type of disaster? Do you know them? Are you more in the medical field? What happens if you can't get to a doctor or a doctor's office or get to a hospital? There's no way to get there, whatever. We remedies so that you have an alternative. It's good to have an alternative for anything that's going on. I wrote this book, The Demise of the City, Off-Grid Living in Fast Changing Times, and it's on Amazon. You can get it. I'm going to tell you a little tidbit. On the 8th of February, I will be in Phoenix. I'll be coming down and teaching people how to, I call it bugging in, prepare for staying in place. I live out of the city, so I teach out here how to get out of the city and to prepare for that. But I also teach how to prepare in the city. And I'll be doing that in, I don't know if we can put up a flyer. I think I sent you a flyer on that. Brian, but I want you to be able to come. It's in Phoenix, actually, at a Glendale Seventh-day Adventist church. I'm going to look here and pull up the address. Um, I sent you a flyer. Did you get that, Brian?
Yeah. Um,
My
hold
phone
on.
had died. So the address is going to be 6801 North 43rd Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona. And it's a free event. I'm going to be bringing a lot of things in. I'll be giving giveaways away. I'm going to teach you a lot of different things, how to prepare to be in place, because most people aren't able to get out of the city. And what does that mean for you? And so when people come to our boot camp, we teach them how to create a way to find their strengths. If you remember back in the Great Depression days, for those that are old enough to have studied that, in the Great Depression, the people that had skills were the people that were able to feed their families. And what does that look like in a disaster? It's not going to be the cubicles and the computers and all that stuff. It's going to be those that can get out there and use their hands and do things. And that could be like gardening, sewing, building, harvesting, doing any type of work, mechanical work. It's like back in the day when I was in school, we had those type of classes, home and economics, shop, art, different things. I'm sure you remember that for those that are older, but those things went away. And so those skills, people don't have a lot of those skills. So we teach those skills at our events. We teach food preservation and food storage. We teach hands-on everything. Everything will be completely hands-on so that you can actually, it's like your memory skills, your auto skills, and being able to think and do. We want people to get their hands dirty and do things so that when they leave, they know that what they have accomplished something, and they know that they know what their place is in their family so that they can be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. We love people. We know that those that have the opportunity to prepare now will be better off than those that are trying to scrounge around at the last minute, trying to figure out how to feed a family. What do you think a person would do in order to feed a screaming kid? And it would be whatever they had to do. And so we want you to know what it is, what it means for you to have extra food storage, extra water put away, purifying water, how to, use a water straw. What does it mean to have a water key if you're in the city and you don't have water, but you have a water key? You can go get water. And so these are the things that we'll be teaching at our boot camp up here, but I'll also be teaching a lot of that stuff in Phoenix at that address that I gave you from 3 to 5 this coming Saturday, February 8th. And I'd love for you to come. My thing is be prepared, not scared. Be prepared, not scared. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Somebody is counting on you. Rhonda Byrice, the Arc of Sustainability.com. Come and see us. If you have any questions, I put my phone number in the chat. I put my information in the chat. I'd love to talk to you. I want to see people ready. Be prepared, not scared. Thank you.